Hello YouTube, my name is Isabella and today I thought I'd switch it up a bit and do another ebook haul. I thought I'd throw it back and sit because this is going to be a rather chatty video. I don't feel like standing. My back has the structural integrity of a limp noodle. It's fine. As many of you may know, I've been doing the best I can to restrict buying physical books, and because of that the ebook purchasing has been off the charts, but I'm not mad at it. I've been using my Kindle a lot more this year. So a couple of the books I actually forgot to mention in my last haul, so we'll start off with them. The first being The Radium Girls by Kate Moore. This is nonfiction, and if you know anything about me, I don't read a lot of nonfiction, but I've seen a lot of good reviews for this. All I know is that it focuses on women who were tested upon for some sort of reasons and started glowing. I've seen a lot of rave reviews for this. I would like to read more nonfiction and I'm thinking about making that a goal for next year. But again, so many great reviews. Seems like an interesting subject that I'm clearly not educated on, so I'd like to give this one a shot. The next book I purchased was The Bromance Book Club by Lyssa Kay Adams. This is an adult contemporary romance that I believe is a second chance romance. If I'm not mistaken, it's about a couple who is married but on the brink of divorce, and our main male character joins a book club where they secretly read romance novels to see what the fuss is about, why women like it so much, and he does it with the thought or hope that he can win his wife back. I've heard so many great reviews about this book. I don't know how I feel about second chance romance in general. It's usually not my favorite thing, but I think I like the idea of a married couple coming back together. That seems interesting to me. This next book I'm not sure if I included, so I might just skip it if I already included it in my other ebook haul, but that is The Wolf of Oren Yarrow by K.S. Veloso. I remembered an author for once. This I'm very excited to read. There's a lot of people who also have enjoyed it. It's the first book in an adult fantasy series that is Filipino inspired and own voices. And if I'm not mistaken, this follows our protagonist who is over the age of 40. I think she's a mother and possibly married. That in and of itself is exciting to me. I like the idea of reading about a woman who's past her prime, because we know how fantasy usually likes to treat women, especially older women. And the series is called The Chronicles of the Bitch Queen. So I was sold. Glad to have my hands on a digital copy. This looks really good. When posting my ebook haul, I believe Tor was giving away a lot of books in and around that period. They decided to give away each novella in the Murderbot Diaries series leading up to the release of the Murderbot book. So I have books 1 through 4 of the Murderbot Diaries by Martha Wells. This seems really cool. Again, there are a lot of really passionate fans about this series. The first book, I believe, is called All Systems Red, and it essentially follows this sentient cyborg who has the ability to blow shit up and destroy the world, but it would rather watch soap operas and be left alone. Definitely intrigued because so many people love it, and their novella length. Tor kills it with novellas. I can't wait. Another book I got from Tor is The Traitor Baru Cormorant by Seth Dickinson. All I know is that this is a sci-fi novel. I have seen reviews floating around of it. I was mildly intrigued, and then Tor said, hey, we're giving this away for our book of the month, I think, and so I downloaded it. I was thrilled when Middle Game by Seanan McGuire went on sale. I have wanted to read this book for a really long time. I've been so excited for it, but the hardcover of it is $40, so I was a little leery. I wasn't 100% sure I was gonna love it, so they put the Kindle book on sale and I was sold. Don't know if this is a contemporary fantasy, if it's set in our world, but I know it follows twins named Roger and Dodger. They are raised apart and they are trained to be gods, something along those lines, but things go wrong and that's all I know. So many people love this story, favorite book of all time, and I'm just really interested to read a book by Seanan McGuire that isn't in her Wayward Children series. I'm going to be talking a lot about Tor in this video because if you sign up for their newsletter, they give away a book a month as like a free download. I've gotten a lot of good things, a lot of really exciting things. And during quarantine times, Brandon Sanderson and Tor teamed up together, and Sanderson himself gave them permission to give away The Way of Kings for a free download. It was really popular. The site was down like all day, but I did manage to download it, and I'm excited but also nervous, and I'm honestly desperate to read The Way of Kings. There's a few more books in the Cosmere that I have to read before I get to The Way of Kings. This is the first book in his most recent-ish epic fantasy series. Book 4 is set to come out in November. I know nothing about it. I then went and purchased The Proposal by Jasmine Guillory. This is a sports romance that I think follows a girl who's been dating a guy, and he proposes to her on the kiss cam at certain sporting events, and she turns him down, and then people get mad. I don't know who her romantic interest is supposed to be. I just saw an adult contemporary romance on sale, so I bought it. So my first ever e-arc that I was approved of was AXIOM'S End by Lindsay Ellis. I have read and reviewed this. I have a full spoiler-free review if you're interested, so again, I will leave a link down in the description and in the cards. AXIOM'S End is actually pretty interesting. It is an alternate history sci-fi story set in 2008, 2007. It follows a girl who gets roped in to be the communicator between like an alien species and the government. It's a really interesting take on the First Contact tale. I gave it 4 stars. Check out my review if you are interested. Look at me actually having read some of the books on here. The next book I have read and purchased was The Worst Best Man by Mia Sosa. This is also an adult contemporary romance. We're really just flopping between adult fantasy and adult contemporary romance, and I'm not mad at it. But this has a weird premise. It follows a girl who gets left at the altar by her ex-fiance, and it's basically the fault of the ex-fiance's brother. And then fast forward a few years later, our main character and the ex-fiance's brother kind of get forced to work together for her to land this really big and important job, and then obviously love ensues. I liked it. I didn't love it, but it was fun. The premise is wild, but it makes sense when you read it, and it's not weird. And our main character is Brazilian, but I'm not sure if the rep is Own Voices. I've seen a couple mixed things about the representation of Brazilian culture, just as an FYI. Apparently, I then went and purchased The Wedding Date by Jasmine Guillory. Now, this is Jasmine Guillory's like bread and butter. This is her, I'm not going to say magnum opus because I think this is the first book she read, but it's really popular. A lot of people have read it. I've seen mixed reviews for it though, but yeah, I don't actually know what it's about, but I'm interested. Again, when I see adult contemporary romance that I recognize and it's $2, I will snap it up and buy it, and then usually inhale read it. If you would have told me like 2 years ago, even like when I was on BookTube, that I would suddenly really like adult contemporary romance, I would have been shocked. You could have fooled me. I would have never believed you. Ooh, one that I bought that I'm very intrigued by is Upright Women Wanted by Sarah Gabe. If I'm not mistaken, the author is non-binary, and in the story where it's set in sort of a post-apocalyptic world, I think this like society's regressed and women are really policed, and it focuses on a main character whose like wife gets murdered, and then she goes undercover or pretends to join this group of librarians, but they actually like secretly share information or something along the likes of that. Basically follows a bunch of queer people resisting, I think, this like sort of patriarchal, regressed, post-apocalyptic society, and that sounds great. I'm down for it. I think this is also novella length, so that should be interesting. And I've seen a lot of pretty decent reviews for it recently, so I'm excited. Is that the first time I said excited in this whole haul? If it is, that's shocking, and maybe I'm evolving as a booktuber and I don't have to say excited when I'm hauling things. The next book on this list is also super exciting, and that's The Weight of the Stars by Kay Ancrum. Everybody and their mother loves Kay Ancrum. They loved her first book, The Wicker King, which, to be honest, never really interested me until I saw buzz for this book. And now I'm really excited for both of them. All I know / remember about the synopsis is that it follows a Black lesbian girl who is obsessed with space because I think her mother might be an astronaut, and like tries to communicate with her mother and also falls in love. I think I'm selling this book super short. I've heard nothing but amazing reviews about this book. Everyone I've seen read it has given it 5 stars, talked about like bawling their eyes out. I can't wait. I think there's also the bit of like fabulism in here, like the slightest magical things with space. Sounds cool. Continuing on the young adult train, I purchased Let's Talk About Love by Claire Kahn. This has a beautiful cover, by the way. Have you seen it? Gorgeous. This has incredibly split reviews. This follows a main character who I think is on the cusp of going to university, around that age, and she is discovering the fact that she is ace, and I believe she breaks up with her girlfriend because of it, and she's sort of lost and confused. So I'm glad to have gotten my hands on some version of a copy. Why can't I speak today? I'm just happy to have a copy, ebook, whatever, of this book so I can give it a try. Another book I have read on this list, and are we shocked that it's an adult contemporary romance? Because I'm not, but that's Well Met by Jen DeLuca. I recently read this in July and have some mixed feelings on it. If you're interested, I'll leave my July wrap-up linked down below. I wasn't thrilled with this story. It takes place at a Ren fair, and it follows 2 characters who get off on the wrong foot in real life, but in the fair, their characters start falling for one another, and like confused feelings ensue. I think the premise is better than the execution. I don't like it as a hate to love, and this again is not my wrap-up. Check it out if you want to hear my thoughts. I didn't love it. Moving on. Another book that I got from Tor, we love Tor here, is The Calculating Stars by Mary Robinette Kowal. I have been interested in reading this book for a few years, but I didn't ever really know what it was about, and come to find out that the 3rd book was just released somewhat recently, which is shocking to me. Like, I thought this book just came out, but anyway, this I think is an alternate history story that takes place in the 60s during like the moon landing race, and then they try to colonize the moon. I also think that there are a lot of discussions in here for what it's like to be a woman in STEM, what it's like to be a woman of color in STEM, and I've heard a lot of really interesting and great reviews. I also purchased Bringing Down the Duke by EVIE DUNMORE. Now, as much as I've been getting into adult contemporary romance, historical romance, not so much. I think I've read like 1 or 2. This one I've seen a lot of good buzz for. It has a lot of great reviews, even from reviewers who don't necessarily love historical romance. I think this focuses on a girl who teams up with a person to bring down this like evil duke. I could be entirely talking out of my ass. I'm pretty sure schooling is somewhat involved, and there's like a revenge quest. That's all I'm somewhat certain on. I'm not sure. I then went and purchased The Bear and the Nightingale by Catherine Arden, when I totally forgot that I technically, I think, own a copy of the audiobook. This is a fantasy book I've been looking forward to for quite a few years. It is set in a Russian sort of inspired world. It focuses on a girl who like keeps the old ways alive. She prays a lot to the old gods, lives in this really kind of remote village. Everything is cool until her father goes and marries someone new, and her stepmother comes and like brings Christianity with her. Because everyone's converting to Christianity, the gods get pissed, and like I think the forest is dangerous, which a lot of these like are buzzwords. Creepy sentient forests, maybe malevolent / unaffected gods, dragging Christianity. I think I will love this book. Across the board, this entire trilogy has great reviews. I am very excited for this story. I think I will wait though until fall winter happens, because this is definitely wintry vibes. I also purchased Kings of the Wild by Nicholas Ames. Apparently all the books I read are popular, and I'm not interested in anything else, because this also is an incredibly popular adult fantasy. And if I'm not mistaken, this is sort of like inspired by like Battle of the Bands type of thing. And it's like, that sounds so dumb, but it focuses on these older haggard men that are past their prime, but like they get the band back together again because somebody's daughter goes missing or is in danger, something along those lines. Initially that premise doesn't sound so great to me, but I've seen a lot of people really passionate about this story, so it's convinced me, and I'm glad to finally have a copy. I then went and purchased The Rage of Dragons by Evan Winters, and this book I'm so excited to read, and I've been so split on whether or not to purchase the hardcover or the paperback, and I've been thinking about it for honestly about months now, that I then went and bought the ebook when it was on sale. If I'm not mistaken, this is an African-inspired fantasy tale, and our main character is cool to live the life he's living. He's like a mediocre soldier. He doesn't care, but then he gets sold out for some reason, and his family gets killed, and then he feels like he has no other choice, and he's just going to go seek vengeance. I'm a little tired of the trope of like man loses wife and family, so like that's the inciting incident, but a vengeance quest I'm usually sold on. I've seen so many great reviews, a couple of negative reviews, but a lot of people are passionate about this, and I think this book was actually indie published, and it was so popular that Orbit went and picked it up. So I'm excited. Another book from Good Old Tor is Silver in the Wood by Emily Tesh. This I also think is a novella that has been nominated for a few things. It looks really good. I've seen rave reviews. I think it also features some sort of sentient forest magic, which all I need. That's all I need. I've seen good reviews, and it was free. The next book was the second arc I was approved for. I've been trying my hand at NetGalley, and this one I kind of took a shot in the dark and then was shocked to be approved by, and that's The Doors of Eden by Adrian Tchaikovsky. I just recognized the author's name, and when I found out it was like the first book in a series, I was like, sure, why not? Let's request it. Let's see. And I got approved, which is cool. And then I found out that the book is 600 pages, and I was like, ah, shit, it's a bit long. Normally I don't really care about page length, but when it's an arc of a book you're not certain of, it was a bit of like a shock to the system. The synopsis here is a little confusing. It might actually be a fantasy sci-fi blend, but it follows a girl whose best friend went missing and is back 4 years later, and it has like extra dimensional research and parallel Earths, which actually sounds really cool. The final book on this list though, I'm thrilled to have because
I found this on the web.
Oh god. But the final book I'm thrilled to have because I've been dying to read it, and then I've just like never purchased the physical book. I don't know why, but that is The Last Witch by Andrzej Sapkowski. This is the first book in the Witcher series. Chronologically, I think. This is the book that you're supposed to start with. This is the first book of short stories, and that's all I need to know. I'm really excited to read this story and give it a shot. I have friends in my real life who have really liked it, and I'm so excited to watch the TV show. I think a lot of people are experiencing Witcher fatigue, but I've never played the video games. I've never read the books. I haven't watched the show. So I'm just like so new and green and excited. And I can't wait to give it a shot. I think that is it for all the ebooks that I've gotten in my collection for the past few months. Let me know down in the comments below some of the books that you are most interested on this list. Brewster, 1 second. Oh, 1 second. It's dinner time and my dog is bothering me. 1 minute, please. But let me know down in the comments below any of your thoughts on the books that I've recently hauled. If you have any passionate opinions, want me to read and review a book, hey, I'd be open to it. Let me know. But as always, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye!